everyone to this week's Willie's Ramblins and Pickup video. Well, this week I went out to Knoxville, Tennessee. I was able to visit my good friend out there, Rob, who hosts the Turtle Flakes podcast. We basically sat around, gabbed, and played a lot of Vectrex. On that note, Indy and I just finished recording episode number 2 of Vectrex Radio, where we're going to talk about Mindstorm, the built-in game. It's actually a pretty fun game, and there's some really neat hacks out there that allow you to use a driving controller from the Atari on the Vectrex to have rotary control over your ship. It's pretty cool. Anyway, continue on. My good pal Sokka from Retro Magazine, he went out to the SC3 party out in California, and he picked me up some Fairchild Channel F games, all complete in the box. Pretty stoked about getting those. I really appreciate him picking them up for me. I'm trying to build up a Channel F collection again. I wasn't going to collect the box games for it, but now I've got a pretty good start again with all these that he just picked up. So I might go ahead and just try to collect the whole library, especially since I got a couple of the more rarer games already. 26, Alien Invasion, and the Pro Football one, which I think is 24. Yeah, I think it's 24. Anyway, another news, Nick D from Nick D's Video Game Vault is going to have a special small business sale. Go to his Facebook page, and he's got a lot of stuff for sale on there, and also on his online store. I'll put a link below to the Facebook page. Go check out his store. He's a really great guy. He's part of the Retro Junkies Network. He's a lot of fun to talk to. Over on Atari Age, they've just started up the 2015 Secret Santa. This is a lot of fun to participate in. I've been participating in the past few years. One year I actually got a Harmony multi-cart for the Atari 2600, which kind of blew me away. They actually recommend, spending maybe $25 to $35 for your Secret Santa gift. Put in like a candy that can be mailed and other knickknacks from, you try to pick up clues from what people write in the questions that the one guy who's organizing it puts together. But that's a fun program to participate in. When you get a chance, go check out a really cool forum called Retro Video Gamer. It's over at retrovideogamer.co.uk. It's a great forum. It's based over in England. A lot of friendly people on there. A lot of good content to check out. And plus you get the UK... Oh, sorry. My breakfast is coming back. You get a real good perspective on the UK video game scene. So, with all that said, let's get to some of the pickups. First up, let's see what we got here. I picked this up from a pal, Indy. He saw mine when I picked it up, so I got him one too. I got him one of those Star Wars plug-and-plays. Pretty freaking awesome game. Love this thing. Has a lot of different levels. Basically, you just fly through. You shoot ships. You have ground levels. You have like a trench run you can do. The outer space levels are the most fun for me. What's neat about this controller is it actually knows which way you're moving, like you're tilting it around and stuff, and forward and back. And the motion controls are spot on this plug and play. And they don't sell for very much. This one I picked up for $6. I mean, it's well worth $6 to pick this up. If you like Star Wars, it reminds me a lot of playing Star Wars the arcade game. It would be really cool if they had like an Easter egg in here. We actually had that game in there, but they don't. That would have been cool though. Let's see what else. Oh, my pal Rob Luther from the Turtle Flakes podcast, while I was visiting him, he gave me a copy of the Atari 2600 Encyclopedia Volume 1. Awesome. Copyright Derek Slayton, 2015. This book is freaking awesome, man. It's got really good detail, all the different Atari 2600 games. It goes up to D. So it starts with A and goes to D. So that means there's probably going to be another 5 volumes. This is going to be an awesome series to get a hold of. So since I got Volume 1, I think I'm going to try to get them all now. Put them up on the shelf. I think that'd be kind of cool. Now, if someone would do one for like 5200 and one for the ColecoVision, I'd be in heaven. All right, moving on to the next thing. Oh, another plug and play. Now this one is cool. This one is Classic Arcade Pinball. It has 3 different pinball games on it. And what's really cool, you got your flipper buttons here, or you got flipper buttons there. But you got the plunger right there to boop, activate the ball up the chute. Awesome. It's actually quite a bit of fun. It reminds me a little bit of the pinball tables from Epic Mega Games, back in the PC DOS days. That's what the tables remind me of. My favorite on here is the Star Strike table, basically because of the sound effects it has. It's actually really neat. Another plug and play I got a hold of for my collection is I picked up the one that looks like the Millennium Falcon. Now this is pretty cool. It's got 4 different games on there. It's got like a lightsaber duel and a level on indoor where you're racing the little speeder bikes. But some of my favorite games on here, there's one level where you're on Hoth and you're running between 3 different of those blaster turrets shooting stuff coming at you. For a basic game, it's actually quite a bit of fun. You can have shields you can put up to protect yourself from their shots. You have ATSTs that attack you, AT-ATs that attack you. You get power-ups. It's a great Twitch game. It's a lot of fun. The other game on here, which I really like, is a shoot-'em-up, a vertical shmup, where you're flying an X-Wing and you're battling TIE fighters and such. You can actually fly over the top of Star Destroyers, destroy cannons on the Star Destroyer. It kind of reminds me of, what's that game? Made by Activision, where you fly over these little Star Destroyers and destroy stuff. Dreadnought Factor. It kind of reminds me of the Dreadnought Factor when you're flying over the Star Destroyer a little bit. This is actually a really cool plug and play. It's pretty neat to add to the collection, so I was pretty stoked to get a hold of this. Next thing I picked up, now I don't have this system, but I couldn't pass up, picking these up for $1 a piece. First thing was Indy 500 for the Gamecom, complete in the box. Now the Tiger Gamecom was their answer to try to sell like a Game Boy type device. It had a little touchscreen on it stuff. Graphics were not too great. The touchscreen on the earlier model wasn't very good. And in general, it was not too great of a system, but it's still kind of neat to see. The other game I picked up complete in the box for the Gamecom is Jurassic Park: The Lost World. Now, this has a green background, so more than likely all you're seeing is the dinosaur and the logo floating around in space. Ooh. Pretty neat. Like I said, I don't have a Gamecom, so I can't try these out. Picked these up for pretty cheap. So I decided what I'm going to do is I'm going to send this to my pal Phil, the No Swear Gamer. He's actually threatened a couple times, to do a podcast about the Gamecom. So I figured, hey, I'll send him some games. Next thing I picked up, this is cool, from Odyssey 2. I picked up, gotta take the rubber band off. Should have did that before I recorded the video. Ooh. I picked up Computer Intro. It's got the little manual that came with it. It gives you a short little introduction to computers. Has little programs in here and stuff like that you can type in. Of course, once you turn off the Odyssey 2, you've lost your program because there's no way to save it. So you're not going to get really wild with this thing. But it gives you a really neat overview of how computers work. This was kind of neat for when it came out back then. It's actually kind of cool. Put the band back on this thing. There we go. Alright, next thing I picked up. I finally got a hold of, complete in a box, a set of the Sega 3D glasses for my Sega Master System. been looking for one of these for quite a while. Looking forward to trying Zaxxon 3D with it. I got to pick up the cartridge first, though. I do have one 3D game up on the shelf. I got Poseidon 3D, so I'll probably try that with that. But only thing missing out of this box are the instructions. So it's got the little interface card, and all that stuff. The glasses are in really good shape, and they're quite stylish too. Awesome. All right, moving on. Next thing I picked up, complete in the box, instructions and everything. Parker Brothers Wildfire Pinball. This is cool. I love pinball games, especially handheld electronic pinball games, video pinball games, and of course the actual pinball themselves. Love this little handheld. I've never had one of these before. My pal Ferg over the Atari 2600 Game by Game podcast, this is one of his favorite games. So I picked it up basically on his recommendation to add to my electronic handheld collection. And yeah, it's actually quite good. What's really neat is if you use the flippers too much, you can actually tilt the table. So that's kind of cool. So you got to be very careful how fast you're flipping those flippers. Otherwise, tilt. Next thing I picked up for my Dreamcast, I actually found a homebrew game, or a new brew game, which was sold out of England by Red Spot Games. It's called Rush Rally Racing. Basically, this is a top-down view racing game. It's a rally game. I like rally games. Kind of reminds me a little bit of a Super Sprint or Off-Road from the arcades, just a little bit. The cars are very well detailed. Controls are not too bad. The steering, the cars kind of steer a little bit too wide. I like it to be a little bit more responsive. But overall, the game is a lot of fun. You have different tracks you can race on. You have items you can pick up to use in other levels. I was kind of stoked to see this actually at a game store. I had actually thought about buying this at one time off the internet, so I guess it worked out. Pretty cool. And then for my Atari Lynx, I picked up another rally game. This one's a new brew by Songbird Productions called Championship Rally for the Atari Lynx. Another top-down rally racing game. Actually, it's very well done. It's actually a lot of fun to play on the Atari Lynx. It's got a bunch of options you can set, like you can set the max speed of the computer players. You can set the acceleration rates, all kinds of neat stuff. And plus, the cartridge itself is pretty cool. It's got a little handle on there. So it's got a really neat cartridge. Here's a chip right back there. That is just so friggin' awesome. And then also for my Atari Lynx, I picked up Backlund. Side-scrolling, Pac-Man type game where you jump over obstacles, avoid the ghosts, pick up cherries, that kind of stuff. But you're in a land environment. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Smurf Rescue in Gargamel's Castle. A little bit where you got the little guy running across the screen, you jump over stuff, things like that. I've never played this game before. I actually kind of like it. It's pretty cool. I don't know if I was getting this confused with like Pac-Man World or something like that, but I didn't really like Pac-Man World. But this one I like. I like Pac-Man Land. Pac-Land, that's cool. Next thing I picked up for my little Atari Lynx is Ninja Gaiden. Side-scrolling beat-em-up game. As you can see, I can't play it worth a darn. Actually, it's a fun game as far as I've gotten so far, which isn't very far. I think I got to the first boss and it was like, died. Next thing I picked up was Kung Food. Looks like the Jolly Green Giant running around the refrigerator beating up food items. It's not too bad of a beat 'em up. It's I don't know if I'm going to keep this one or not. It's okay, I guess. But I like Ninja Gaiden better. And then the last thing I picked up for my Atari Lynx, I've already got a copy of this complete in the box. I picked up Gauntlet. Yes. Found the second copy. The reason why I wanted to get 2 copies is so I could connect this up to my other Lynx, so me and my wife could play Gauntlet using a little Comlinks cable. Awesome. What would really be cool is I could get like 2 more Lynx and get 2 more of these carts and do a 4-player Gauntlet at a game show or something on the Atari Lynx. I think that'd be kind of cool. But anyway, that's all the pickups. Yep, that's it for this week. Nothing else. So next week I'm going to be going up to Detroit. So of course I'm going to hit one of my favorite stores up there, Retro Taku. I love that store. Oh, I forgot to mention the 2 stores I hit towards Knoxville. The first store I hit on my way out to Knoxville, it's in Asheville, North Carolina. It's called Game Escape. It's a neat store. Has an area where you can sit down and play games on these big screen TVs. The neatest thing I found there, which I didn't pick up, I was going to, was he had 2 box belly astrocades. One of them looked almost brand new. It was like, he wanted $300 for both of them. It was like, didn't really want to spend that much. Another store I hit in Knoxville itself is CM Games. Smaller store, had a small video game selection there. Had some gaming tables for playing board games, a lot of those card battle games, things like that. It was more of that than the video games, but they had a few cool video games in there. So it's well worth stopping and checking out. But other than that, that's it for this week. Catch y'all next time. Vince.